We have finished painting the inside, so now we want to start working on the outside and get it all done and painted before we start tackling some of the harder things on the inside of the camper again. So basically all I'm doing is just sanding the trailer part of the camper, getting it ready to be painted. Now there's some other things that we've got to do throughout the rest of the week, like pulling dent outs, putting some bondo, just all sorts of things that we'll get into later. But anyways, I just wanted to say that first I went over the trailer hitch part with an 80 grit sandpaper. Now I am using my orbital sander, and then I went back behind it with a, what is this, a 220 grit sandpaper to kind of smooth it out. So there's no telling, it's probably never been repainted before in the whole existence of this camper. So I just wanted to get off any like rust or any paint just in case it may have been painted, and then smooth it out and get it ready for us to put our primer and our paint on it. So I've got a little bit more work to do, so I'm fixing to get back at it before we start on the next project for the outside. And just like that, I am done sanding the trailer part of the camper. Now I didn't want to bring it down all the way to the original finish or bare metal. I just wanted to knock off decades worth of dirt and possible rust and get it real smooth. That way when we prime it, it's going to look pretty good. So next, I'm actually going to hook my truck up to the camper and move it a little bit off of the fence, because Samantha's going to be pulling dents soon, and there's only probably like a 2 foot, maybe 3 foot space in between the camper and the fence, and I haven't been able to get the weed eater back in there, so the grass has kind of grown up a little bit, and I don't want her having to work back there pulling those dents out in that small space. So I'm going to hook the truck up to it, pull it up probably about 20 feet or so, and try to get it as far off the wall and give her as much space as she possibly needs, because I'm going to have to move it anyways when we start painting it, so might as well do it now. Just like that, Samantha has plenty of room between the camper and the fence.
I'm going to be working on dents today. I've got this fun tool, and I have put this off for so long. If you guys remember, several months ago I was going to do this, and then we didn't have a glue gun, or we couldn't find our glue gun. We've got a glue gun. We've had it actually for a very long time, but we've been putting it off. But now that we are working on the exterior of the camper and we're wanting to paint it, we've got to get this taken care of. So that is what I'm going to be working on today. We don't have many dents. There's one really nice noticeable one right here on the side, and then we have a couple of small ones on the front. So we're going to try to get those pulled out as best we can to make a nice smooth surface. So that was a major fail. We just assumed that they would work. We had no other backup plan.
Not in.
So you... This is harder than I thought. Oh, well, it was almost impossible for me to even figure out how to work that piece of equipment. I thought it was going to be easy, and then it became more of a difficult job. So Wade stepped in, and what he came to figure out is we pulled the plastic off, but it doesn't pull the dent out. All right, so Wade thinks he can do this better than I can. Wade knows he can do this.
This sucks.
This thing's not working very good.
Like, this one's on here really good. I just don't know if this is gonna come out.
Yeah. It's just... It's not... It's definitely not working.
No, move it.
So it's just a waste of time, waste of money. So we were basically left with a bunch of hot glue stuck on to the camper. Luckily the kit did come with the supplies to remove the kit. Actually it didn't come, we actually had our own rubbing alcohol, but it came with everything. The little bottle, we just put our own rubbing alcohol in it, and it just, you spray it on the glue and it comes right off.
Crazy.
That is so crazy. Alcohol. Well, if you need to get what is this? Glue stick glue off of any metal anyways, it comes off with
just regular alcohol.
Just regular rubbing alcohol. So at least the cleanup wasn't that bad, but it was a bummer. It was like a huge buildup just to actually do nothing. So on to the next project.
So today Samantha and I spent some more time working on the outside. She went ahead and spent some time taping up the windows on the outside of the camper so that we can get it ready to sand and paint and all that good stuff. And while she was doing that, I spent some time doing something that I never thought I would do in my wildest dreams, and that's use automotive bondo. So there were a few spots on the outside of the camper where it looks like they had had some damage before, and they cut that damage out and replaced it with another piece, and it looked really bad. So I just spent some time learning how to use bondo, applying the bondo on those spots, sanding it down. It's not the best job, but like I said, I've never done this before, and I never thought I'd do this before, and I hope to gosh that I never have to do this again. But it did make it look a lot better. So now that the bondo is on and sanded down, I think I'm fine with how it looks, and Samantha's just about done with all the windows. We're going to take a break and then probably start sanding the outside, and then Samantha's going to go behind me and kind of wipe it clean so that we can get ready to apply our first coat of primer. Well, today's the day we've been preparing for all week. It is time to start applying the primer to the exterior of the camper. Everything's taped off, cleaned, bondoed, sealed to the best that we can, I guess, imagine. So I'll just kind of show you real quick. So we got all the windows taped up, which Samantha did the other day, and then yesterday I went through and all of like these side lights. I'd already done the emblems, and then I got that window taped up as well as the lights back here, and then the bondo, which I think I did okay for my first and only time ever doing that. Now I was really just trying to hide some repair work that they had done in the past on this camper. And then we got the grate put here, and I had to cover that. That's where the grate, the exhaust little vent plate was, and we're moving the refrigerator from where it originally was in the camper, so I had to swap that over, and I just cut out a piece of aluminum and riveted it in right there. But yeah, so that's that. I do have to go over it one more time just to kind of clean it and knock off the dust. I was a little scared that today was going to be a rainy day because it was supposed to rain yesterday and it never rained, and then it's really overcasted today. But I've looked at 2 weather apps and the local weather, so all 3 of them have assured me that there is no rain in this area today. So that's good news. Let's just hope it stays that way, and surely to goodness all 3 of them can't be wrong. So I got to prep the paint, get everything ready, and then after I clean the exterior one more time, it's time to start spraying this son of a gun. So the second coat of primer is applied, so now I'm just waiting for it to dry. I don't think we'll need to do any more than just 2 coats of primer. The first one was probably good enough, but there were still some spots that you could see the aluminum through, just faintly. So we just decided it would be best if we applied the second coat. And I don't think I ever mentioned what primer we used for the outside. We just used this Kiehl's primer here. Now you can get this at like your big box retailers, your Home Depot, Lowe's. It's about 40 bucks, somewhere around $44. So it actually took me 3 gallons to apply 2 coats of primer to the outside of this camper. So once it's dried, I think I'm going to go ahead and put 1 coat of the top coat on there, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Well, I'm happy to say that I have already applied the first coat of our white top coat. Now, obviously you can't really see much behind me because it's blurred out, but you really can't tell anyways right now because of the shade that's over the camper, and the primer's white, and the top coat that we're going to use on like the top 3/4 or top half of the camper is going to be like a brighter white than what that primer would be. But when you walk out and the sun hits it, you can tell it's going to look very nice. But anyways, I did want to show you the exterior paint that we are using. It is a Krylon oil-based enamel. This seemed to apply pretty well. I'm not going to apply another coat today. I am going to let it dry for the rest of the day and overnight, and then I'll come back and clean it off, because unfortunately the only place we've got to put this camper to paint is underneath a tree, which is basically anywhere in our backyard, and things just fall on top of it. So every time paint dries, I either have to sand a little bit or sweep it off, blow it off, rub it off, just whatever, get all the dirt and particles and insects and things off of it. So well, today is one of the days that I've actually excited about and have been excited about for quite some time, and that's giving old Gertie here some flair. So today is the day that we add color to our camper. Well, if you were curious to see what color we was going to class old Gertie up with, there it is. It's called Palace Green. It's a Valspar color choice, but they mixed it in the same Krylon paint as they did the white. So basically, I spent all morning just taping off my straight line. Now, I don't have a level, like a laser level, and I don't know how auto body people do things like that, or just anybody tapes off straight lines. So I used the only method I knew how to do at that time, other than eyeballing it, which would have been a massive mistake. I just took some twine that I had. I knew where we wanted to start the straight line, so I just taped it to that, and I used a line level to kind of dangle on the line as I pulled it tight, a certain amount of length, and then just taped it off and kept doing that all the way around. And then once I had my string all the way around the camper, I just went back behind it and took some tape and taped off right at the line, the bottom of the tape onto the line, and got it about as straight as you could get it. You know, after I taped it off, I just took whatever plastic I had left and taped off the white part so that I wouldn't get any green on it. And then once I ran out of that, I had some paper, because I didn't want to go to the hardware store and get some more plastic, so I just made do with the paper and taped it off, and it actually worked much easier than the plastic. Anyways, 1 coat down. I'm going to let this thing dry until tomorrow, and then I'll get back out here and apply a 2nd coat, and then I'll wait for that to dry, and then possibly a 3rd coat. I don't know, but Gertie's getting a makeover, and she's looking mighty fine, if I do say so myself. after multiple coats of paint, I finally finished painting old Gertie here. So while the paint was still a little wet, the green paint that is, I pulled off all of the tape, all of the plastic and paper that was surrounding everything I did not want green. Even pulled the tape off of the lights and the emblems to kind of see what the final product looked like, and I will say that I am really happy with how it looked. Now there are a few spots that we need to go in and touch up, kind of where the paint pulled a little off here and there, or the tape, I'm sorry, the tape pulled off some of the paint here and there. I did leave the windows still wrapped up because we still have to do some painting underneath the windows, and we also need to do some research and see if we want to go on top of this with a clear coat. So guys, thank you for following along, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.